This video is going to be a commentary and slash film study of Calais Campbell's 3 years spent with the Ravens. I agree with Ken at Film Study Ravens. I saw a tweet that he put out this afternoon that if ever there was someone who probably deserved to be in the Ring of Honor after only 3 years with the Ravens, it would be Calais Campbell. I thought that he played above the numbers. Now, some may say he didn't play above the salary signed in 2020. I think he played above the numbers in terms of the statistical output that we got here. To me, he's probably worth more at this point to the Ravens than most or all of the NFL in terms of probably gathering a 1-year deal. It would have to be a team. I would expect him to probably be offered a 1-year deal by a couple of teams. I think it would have to be someone with D-line depth and the willingness to tell him up front, hey, or ask him up front, how many plays per game do you want to play? How many snaps do you want to play per game? The Ravens can offer that. And I think the Ravens, by and large, did that this past year with him and Justin Houston. But I know that there was some injury sustained by both of those guys. It would be wonderful, in my opinion, if we were able to bring both of them back. He'll turn 37 this year, I think, in September. He's been in the NFL since 2008. Almost like 2 eras ago, I guess. 99, stuck on 99 career sacks. Some would say, and I'm in a group chat with some former players of mine and other coaches as well, and there were a couple of guys that were like, what did you really get out of Calais Campbell? And they weren't Ravens fans. I was like, what? I just kind of sat it out and let the conversation flow. And it amazed me. In 3 years with Baltimore, he played 40 games and had 11 sacks, 36 or 38 QB hits, I think 15 tackles for loss, and 9 passes defensed, which was a pretty amazing number. I'm constantly reminded of a zone drop that he did against Cleveland in 2020 from the other side of the field. I didn't find that play here. I should have found that one because it's an amazing play. Maybe I'll make a YouTube short about it, where he drops from the other side of the field. So Wink had him lined up as a D tackle on the left side of the defense as a 3 technique, and then he pass drops into the flats on the other side of the field, gets, I guess, really in the curl, gets in the way of a slant, deflects it, almost intercepted it, because Baker Mayfield never expected a D tackle to be there, a zone dropping D tackle from the other side, and then Marlon ends up picking it off. It was an amazing play. But it's not the one that I'm going to use to show first here and just kind of pay homage or show respect to him. I mean, come on, how can it not be the field goal block that basically preserved the game for us against the Colts in 2021? I've covered this multiple times. I think it's a unique set of skills that he offered. I know he's got a lot of block kicks in his career, but I love the way that we did this. And I also love the commitment that guys had. Somewhere along the line, someone identified that this who is a tackle, number 73, but in this case, he's an eligible tight end, meaning he's the third guy outside of the center, just like this guy right here is the tight end. And then the outside guys from here on out, I'll refer to as wings. So someone in film study had determined that this guy didn't step back and get his feet locked in. So what we mean by locked in is, there's a bucket step back there instead of, and you get a little bit of a bucket step here, but he's not holding his ground at all. And this is a strategic thing that the Ravens did. I think this is Broderick Washington, who's basically bull rushing him, trying to dislodge this guy, get him out of there, and create more space in this gap here, which is essentially the C gap. Calais is swimming on the guard. You can see him slap the left arm, swim with the right arm, and combine that with the dislodge bull rush by Broderick Washington, and you've got this foot way up in the air. Calais is able to get through there. Brilliant execution by Broderick Washington and Calais Campbell. Great timing, of course, to save us the game, because I think that was potentially a game-winning field goal for the Colts. Clearly had a huge impact on that play. I'm going to show pass rush plays first. Look, was the contract worth it that he signed in 2020? We were all excited to get him. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You got a lot of moments like this. And when he hits quarterbacks, he crunches them. And you're going to see that, or he forces a fumble. You're going to see that throughout a lot of this play. His leadership, his effort, he always seemed to be just bought in, on everything the Ravens were doing. And whenever you would see like those Ravens Wired or whatever they're called, where they would show the sideline after the game, show some of the players communicating with coaches, or, show what they're allowed to show. Because, of course, there's some things like techniques or calls that they don't want to show. They don't want to give away the names of certain things. Whenever they showed those, Calais Campbell was always one of those guys who was always positive, always keeping everyone focused on the direction they want to be moving toward. And I just love that he could turn it on and off because as soon as he stepped on the field, I mean, he was violent. So many of his hits against quarterbacks this past year in 2020 and, 2020 and 2021, they're just violent. He would just like fold people up. I think of the hit, one hit that he had on Daniel Jones, I think, which I think is in this video. One hit that he had on Burrow this year, the one that I showed you against Flacco, and then this one against Dalton. I mean, he just folds people up. It's a violent game by nature. It's supposed to be violent, and as you see, two Ravens, multiple Ravens get up and celebrate. Andy Dalton is there injured, and I think out. Well, he actually didn't sit out for the rest of the game. But my point is, like, Calais Campbell understands that he can turn it on and off, and he's a leader. He's a tremendous leader. It's an unfortunate reality, though, that his cap hit, which I think was like 7 or 9 million, combined with our depth at D tackle. I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot of usable pieces that we have at D tackle, whether he comes back or not, which I certainly hope he does. We've got Travis Jones, who's a third-round pick with a lot of potential. And when I say potential, I mean potential to play well against the run and the pass. You've got Pierce, who is a big free agent signing. He's dominant athletically. Calais Campbell is really good, if you ask me, taking on a guard and winning through the B gap. Whatever the move is, whether it's a swat with the outside arm, wouldn't necessarily be at that angle because it's going to be a pass set. But he was so good at winning through that B gap against guards, in my opinion, that would be the place for him, more so than nose tackle, if you ask me, in pass rush situations this year. But Pierce is dominant athletically along with Travis Jones. Then you got Matabike, Washington, who really, if you ask me, came into their own in 2022. There's a rotation that was used there at D tackle, at interior D tackle, D end, five technique, 4-eye, whatever you want to call it, that limited some of those guys' reps. When I say those guys, I mean Matabike and Washington. Brent Urban is returning. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. So there's 5 pieces there, guys that can play, guys that are capable of playing well against the run and the pass, that even if we don't bring back Calais Campbell, I think we're fine. He's just such a usable piece. He's so smart. This is designed. You may say, well, he's not coming off here really quickly. He's not getting off the football. This is designed for Bowser to go here, Campbell to hesitate, and then loop around. There's different types of tech stunts or X stunts, and this is one of them, in my opinion, that Calais Campbell's intentionally holding the guard, letting Bowser go outside, bring the tackle with him, and then rush outside and again, basically fold Burrow up in half. That was week 7, 2021. I think this will be the last pass rush one that I'll show you. Another violent hit on Burrow. This was a beautiful game defensively, relying on 4-man rushes. And the one thing about Calais Campbell that I noticed, along with multiple guys that played D-line this year, their second effort or third effort was tremendous. I think that's a credit for our D-line coach Weaver and the drills that he puts together. These guys come with that type of attitude, programmed in. Don't get me wrong. But I think it has to be cultivated. It has to be advanced, and it has to be promoted every day. The second and third effort by our D tackles, our D line, was significant this year. All right, some run plays, I think I only have 5 or 6, to be honest with you. Look, the film looked good. I sat here today. I think I save plays every week for various players. All right, it's what I try to do every week so that I'm prepared for certain situations like this one where Calais Campbell gets, cut, which is difficult to even put that sentence together. Josh Oliver signs with the Vikings for, I think, 10 million guaranteed up front or something like that. So good for him. I have plays saved on a lot of these guys to just put out something that's, I don't want to say final, but put out some kind of commentary with film to show my points. I think Calais Campbell was worth the money. I do. The film looked good. There was times, particularly 2021, in my opinion, we got a healthy version of Calais Campbell up through about this game here, which you see on the film here, week 7 of 2021. And then I thought there was a significant decrease in his output and his ability to explode and make those second and third effort plays. I can't quantify that. I don't memorize the injury reports from various years. I try to, I pay attention to it obviously during the season. But my point is, when we had a healthy version of Calais Campbell, we still got a pretty damn dominant player at times, a guy who could win on the second and third effort, and a guy who understood blocking schemes. I think pre-snap. I think he's just a super smart player, super experienced. He looks like someone who would be a fantastic coach if he was ever wanting to go that route. I love the effort, the tenacity, and the positivity. You guys let me know in the comment section if you're on board with hopefully the Ravens, bringing him back. and giving him an opportunity to play 20, 25, 28 snaps a game strategically, but move toward Jones, Pierce, Matabike, and Washington playing a larger percentage of the snaps. But D tackle, look, D tackle is just like anything else in sports. There's certain matchups that are good matchups for guys, and there's certain matchups that are not. When you look at film of a team and you see a matchup, like let's just say, for example, the Ravens determine, hey, this is a matchup that we think Calais can win in pass rush situations, then go ahead and roll him out there on 3rd and 7 and let him kick some ass and win that matchup. That's the benefit of having depth. Think of it like having 6 starting pitchers in Major League Baseball, and when you get to a playoff situation, you can use any one of those 6 to try to win matchups or put your team in position to win. I love the signing, even though he missed a lot of time. And even though, like I said, I read out the stats earlier, he only gave us 11 sacks in 40 games. You would certainly have expected somewhere around 16 or 18, I would think. I think there was opportunity for him to get those at times. I think there was times, particularly 2 plays this year, where Justin Houston just beat him to the spot. Justin Houston was just there before him. One last thing about Calais Campbell in terms of the money and how well he played, and this will be my final point before I get out of here. I will try to put out a video on Oliver tonight. Calais Campbell had a 5-game stretch this year, 2022. So we're talking about from week 6 against the Giants until week 12 against Jacksonville. Now, he didn't play down in Tampa Bay in week 8. So he had a 5-game stretch where he had 4.5 sacks, 9 quarterback hits in a 5-game stretch. I would say that that's what he can do when he's healthy. Is that what he'll do during every 5-week stretch? Well, no. I mean, Justin Houston was another guy, right? Justin Houston, I think, had 7.5 sacks over a 3-week period or maybe a 4-week period, something like that, something insane. I would say that Calais Campbell could still give us that next year if we're able to bring him back on a lower cap hit. But for him and for his sake, I hope he does go out there and he'll probably get an offer. I would think a 1-year offer from at least 1 or 2 teams. Someone who has D-line depth like we do, someone who can look at the film and be a little bit more specific and way more detailed in their analysis than I can for you. Look at the end zone angle and say, hey, coach, this is what we think he can do. He can play 3 technique on the left side in pass rush situations. We can get 10 or 12 reps out of him on 1st and 10, then that'll be great. Give him the opportunity to rest and rotate in. I think Baltimore has a great situation for him, and hopefully we see him back. You guys let me know what you thought of this video being a statement/commentary defending the signing of Calais Campbell, because, again, I have young guys that I'm ashamed to admit that I coach who think that it was a waste of money to go get Calais Campbell, even despite the cumulative effect of what he brought to the table for 3 years in Baltimore. And now we see, it possibly being an end to clear space before Wednesday. Appreciate you guys' time. You guys let me know what you think of the video in the comment section. And if you enjoy this video and you'd like to see one out on Josh Oliver, who just signed with the Vikings, let me know. And consider sharing a link on social media as well to help this video get more reach.